I was deliberately leaving a gap
I
because
thought you would like forgotten or something.
because on the wave, just this past Monday, I encroached upon your hello.
You did interrupt my hello.
But then I felt that you just really stunted your hello because you thought I was going to go over you. And it just sounded really weird. And now we've got to keep all this in.
Yeah, we'll just keep it in. Why not?
Fun times.
Welcome to the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick, the world famous Bottom of the Stream movie show.
Yes, indeed.
Back doing what made us famous.
This is what we do. We're doing a movie.
We're talking about a movie randomly selected from the Netflix stream.
Indeed, we are. This week, we are talking about a film called Hard Times, if you're in some parts of the world.
Okay, I am in some parts.
And Holy Water, if you're in the same parts of the world. This actually has two titles, and it's not geographically based. It just has...
Just does.
IMDb has them as original title for both Hard Times and Holy Water.
Which is better?
Holy Water.
I prefer Holy Water.
I do as well. Netflix preferred Hard Times because that's what they have it as.
Okay.
That's, to be fair, that is what the title card of the film says during the film.
That's true.
We're going with Hard Times. Hard Times was released in 2009. It is a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 33 minutes and is currently rated a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
Happy with 5.8? I think it's high.
Yes. I think it's too high.
Yes.
I do think this movie bears comparison with another movie we've seen this season.
Yes, yeah.
Which is basically older people larking around in the countryside, getting into hijinks.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out, I think.
Yes, it will indeed. I have got a cast. I've written the three main cast members down. They're not. None of them are massively famous guys.
Sure.
You've seen some of them around in TV.
Yeah, I recognise a couple. Like the priest was was like the chief inspector from Luther.
Okay, good shout.
Yeah.
The main guy I've written down is John Lynch. He plays
I
Tom.
recognised him.
He plays Tom Gaffney. He's been in loads of British TV. Loads and loads. Cornelius Clarke, which is a great name,
Lovely
plays
name.
Podger Burns. And Lachlan O'Meara plays Donal O'Connell.
I think it's pronounced O'Connell.
It is O'Connell, but it doesn't rhyme with Donal that way, so it's not funny.
Couldn't even put Donald O'Connell.
Donal O'Connell. Should we go into the random cast members now, or should we wait till they pop up in the film? I think
Let's wait until they pop up.
Yeah. There's a couple of randos in this one. This film was written by a guy called Michael O'Mahony. He randomly has lots of credits for children's TV.
Okay.
Lots and lots and lots of children's TV. And then he made this film. He wrote this film. And then his IMDb since this is completely empty.
Wow.
He's not written anything or done anything since.
Oh, man.
I've just done written. Directed by a guy called Tom Reeve. He directed 2004's George and the Dragon film.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
No, it was quite big when it came out, I think. But he directed that. But also, interestingly, has no IMDb credits since this film.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's this film doesn't appear to have made anybody's career. Let's put it that way. In fact, it seems to have ended a couple. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've gotten from this film. It had a bit of a weird release. We don't really know when it came out.
I mean, I had a little look into it, and I found it like a film festival release 2009, an Irish release in 2010, and a couple of places had it as being released in 2013, which is significant. So I think it's fair to significant time later. So I think it's fair to say that this was not a hit.
No, I don't think you're right. I don't think it was a hit at all. It actually won an award though.
Okay.
It won Best Film at the first ever New York Friars Club Comedy Film Festival.
I'm sure that is prestigious.
It doesn't sound like it is. I feel like it might have been the only film shown, but it did win. So it's an award winner. It's basically one great big long advert for Viagra.
Although it's not, which we'll come to at the end.
Yeah, because
there's a well, I know, I'll mention it now.
Do it.
There's a huge disclaimer in the end credits saying that this movie is not endorsed, paid for in any way by Pfizer or Viagra.
I didn't realise Pfizer made Viagra.
Yeah, well, they're all over this movie.
They are. Their branding is everywhere in this movie.
Yet they had nothing to do with it.
No, apparently they distanced themselves. Maybe they've seen it and then distanced themselves from it afterwards.
Maybe.
Who knows? Do you have a one-word review of whatever this film's called?
My lovely horse.
Nice. Good one. Where does this film start, Nick?
Ireland.
It does. It very much starts in Ireland and finishes and is
Pipes.
all in Ireland. Pipes.
Cliffs.
Yep.
And a man wearing a jumper.
Yes.
Who then becomes a jumper.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know. 'Cause it was just like a Naked Gun type gag, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
so there's a guy playing... There's Irish music playing over drone shots of Ireland.
Yeah.
And
It's
then-
like the start of Father Ted.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Exactly right. And then there's a man standing on a cliff edge. Then he just jumps off.
Yeah.
And he's never heard from again, never mentioned again. And to be honest, I'd completely forgot till I've just read it in there.
I think he yells Fanny or something.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
does.
Well, I presume a person's name who's not like just like Tourette's.
This is why he couldn't. This is why he's killed himself. Can't
Yeah.
get any. Yeah, that's a weird start, isn't it? I'd completely forgotten about that as soon as
And-
it happened.
Even the font on the credits is like that Riverdance type.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like Father Ted.
Yeah.
Okay, so we cut from there goes to a short credit sequence from there into the title card, which does say Hard Times, so that's what we're going with on our show. And we cut pretty much straight to an auction that's going on at a farm.
Yeah.
They're basically just trying to auction off some shit that people are trying to sell.
Don't know why.
Don't know why.
Auction, yeah.
They-
never mentioned
A man buys a clock for 50p.
50p.
50p. You're going to do this a lot.
I don't know, maybe. Only with certain words. It's because you made me do voices all week.
Sorry.
There's...
I didn't.
Well, I can't remember what I was saying. There's an auction. Yeah, the guy's like, this carriage clock is worth at least £5.
Yeah.
And we meet Gaffer,
Gaffer.
who calls everyone horse.
Yes, which is very confusing when nobody uses their actual fucking name in this film. There's still characters in this film I don't know what they were called.
Okay,
Still
fine.
now.
Maybe we can work it out. Gaffer is like, I want that clock, but
Yeah.
I'm only paying 50p for it.
Yeah.
And the auctioneer is like, no way,
It's
you're
worth
robbing
at least
me.
a fiver.
And then to which the other little man says,
Podger.
oh, that's Podger, is it? He says, there's no reserve price.
Yeah.
There's no one else here. It's 50p or nothing.
Yeah, you've got to sell it for 50p. It's the law.
Oh, and it's broken.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's probably not worth any more than 50p,
No.
to be fair. But he buys it. Again, the clock briefly gets mentioned again later on, but again, we're basically building up. First half an hour of this one, we're just building up who the characters are.
Yeah. Podger and Gaffer, who are these two guys we've just met, go to fill up some small bottles
Yeah, little
From-
miniature glass bottles.
with holy water.
Yeah, well, so that's what they're labelling it as.
Yeah, because sell it to the tourists.
Yeah.
It's water from the local well. We kind of absorb the backstory through this movie that this town is or was famous
Yeah.
for this quality of this spring.
Yeah.
Under the town, and this water that's supposed to be very good for you and enriching, and someone's put like a Virgin Mary statue on top of the well.
Yeah.
And they're selling it as holy water. So they go and do this. They top up the supplies. Then they take the clock to Donal,
Yes.
who's like the third member of their crew, and he's like, this is important because it lets us know that this guy can like fix anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does. He fixes his clock. He tries to make it look antique-y,
Yes.
and so that Gaffer can sell it. I think I've just figured out what the jumping thing was all about. The man jumping at the beginning.
Right. Oh, was it his stuff being sold?
No.
Oh.
I think it might have been back in time because the town's called Kilcullen's Leap.
Oh, so do you think that was Kilcullen?
Because there was no town there. So did he
maybe.
leap and then they built a town around him? So he was Kilcullen leaping.
Maybe.
That's my guess. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, basically they talk about this town and how it's dying. It will be empty in the next 10 years. Gaffer runs the local hotel.
Yes.
He said if he could sell it, he would. If he could find a buyer, he would sell it.
This is a town on the decline.
Yeah, there's not many
Very
people here
much.
now. There's an old hotel, there's an old bar. That's pretty much all there is. We go into the bar later on, just now, and there's two old men sitting in there.
These are like Statler and Waldorf.
Exactly. That's what I've written because you don't think you ever find out their
No.
name. So that's what I've described them as all the way through. And
They
they're
just talk
basically
about
they're
death
dying. They're planning
all
their
the
own
time.
funerals
Yeah.
and which one's going to die first and will they go to my funeral, that sort of thing. And then suddenly we're at a funeral.
Dermot's dead.
So maybe he's the leaper. I don't know. Somebody's died. And it's...
I think it was Dermot, actually.
I think it probably was now.
Dermot.
Dermot leaped. And basically, we're at this funeral. The priest says he's fed up of doing funerals. He hasn't done a wedding for 12 years
Yeah.
in this town. People just keep dying. Nobody knew's coming. There's a lady crying at the front of the mourners because she's resisted shagging him for all
Maybe
these
she was
years.
Fanny.
She probably was. This all makes sense now. That's why we watch these films, because it makes sense of them with each other. She's basically saying she should have shagged him at least once just to see what it was like, but she never did, and now she'll never get the chance. Back at the wake afterwards, back in the bar.
Oh, we meet Sean, who's like the fourth member of this
He's like the young one.
crew.
He's the youngest one, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's like, it's my ambition to leave this village. There's nothing here.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm going to England.
Yeah, see you later, guys.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the band because they're also in a band.
Yes,
by the
they
way.
Yeah.
An Irish folk band.
So yeah, he's leaving. He's a lot younger than the other three in the band.
But now
so
I've
he's
put,
like-
why is everyone called Horse?
yes, same. It's very confusing because they don't establish names.
No.
You don't find out who these characters
I was
are.
like 15 minutes in where I was like, oh, it's just Gaffer calls everyone
Oh,
Horse.
yeah. It's very confusing. And then we see a Pfizer lorry for the first time.
Yeah.
Why does the laptop keep going off?
I don't know.
It's never done that before. We see a Pfizer lorry for the first time, and it has to follow a detour because there's some roadworks going on.
Yeah.
I've had this a lot my drive to work's been stressful the last few weeks.
It's going to the airport.
It's going to the airport
Because for some reason, it turns out that Viagra is manufactured quite close to this tiny little village.
Yeah, in Ireland.
Yeah.
And then exported all over the world to wherever it goes.
Podger
Yep.
happens to be behind the Pfizer lorry.
Yep.
He's the local postie.
He's
as
also
you
heading to the
mentioned.
airport.
Yeah, because he's got to pick up or drop off
Drop
some
off parcels and stuff.
parcels.
And they're basically, he talks to the guy at the port about how much Viagra's worth.
Yeah.
It's like, that lorry's full of Viagra and they're £10 a pill.
Brick.
Basic, but
A brick of
I
Viagra.
thought you said prick.
Oh,
Yeah, they're basically £10 a pill and that lorry's full of them. Then we cut back to the bar. The band are playing in the bar later that night. There's literally nobody in there. They're playing to an empty room.
they
pretty
make
much.
£20
Yep.
by the end of their set.
Yeah, so they say, we need a plan to make some money. We're dying on our asses.
Well,
here.
Gaffer says to Sean, would you stay
Yeah.
if we had a way of making money?
Yeah.
And he kind of is like, well, maybe. And we then cut back to Podger back at the airport
Yeah,
the next day.
Sean goes home briefly first and just is all depressed on his
Yeah.
bed. But yeah,
He
Podger
still
goes
lives
back.
at home with his parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Podger goes back to the airport. He tries to swing a job for Sean at the airport.
Yeah, he's talking to the security guy. He's
just-
like, any jobs
Any
with
jobs
Pfizer?
going- yeah.
Or here at the
anywhere,
airport?
yeah, or anything. And the guy's like, no, we're overstaffed. There's nothing going on.
He's like, you'll be looking for a job soon as well, won't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, because all the
And
posts
Podger's
are
like,
closed.
what?
What the
are you
fuck are you
about?
talking about? But it turns out all the post offices are closed.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
local
The
ones,
local
yeah.
ones that he works for. So he's not happy. Everybody's depressed. Everybody's got no money.
Yeah.
That's what we've established so far in this film.
So literally only Donal out of the four of them who's just
But he's got his
happy
little
being
garage
mechanically
fixing stuff. Yeah.
fixing stuff.
And then Podger's sitting on the side of the road and a Pfizer lorry drives past him. And it's like a beam of sunlight
Yeah.
following this lorry.
They literally put a beam.
They literally did. And Podger has this idea, and you could see the idea forming in his head. And he gathers the crew together, gets them all they all kind of meet at the garage, don't they? Where, what's his name? The
Donal.
garage guy? Donal. They all kind of meet there. That's their meeting place wherever they meet up in this film. That's where they are. And he tells them his plan. He wants to hijack a lorry full of Viagra.
Yeah.
And he wants to go to Amsterdam and sell it to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Because why not? You can't be arrested for selling drugs in Amsterdam.
And they all laugh at him. So they're
Yeah.
like, oh, you want to be a criminal and a smuggler?
Yeah.
Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, they were like, none of them are on board. They're completely not keen.
I was disappointed there was no badgers in this movie.
No badgers.
Yeah, because then you could have had Podger and Badger.
Oh, rest in peace, Badger. Yeah, the others are not keen. They're all kind of like, I can't believe you've dragged me out here for this half-witted plan, and they all leave. Gaffer goes home, goes back to the hotel. He runs the hotel with his sister.
Podger says his sort of last pitch to them before they walk off is like, I don't want to do anything stupid. Just a few grand each, so we can start
Something.
over. I
Yeah.
can go do whatever I want to do. Sean can go off to England,
Yeah.
and we need a break.
It's
Something
easy
that can
money.
start as
We'll
well.
hijack this
Yeah.
lorry, get a few pills, sell them off, easy money.
But they all dismiss the idea.
Yeah, they do.
and walk away.
Gaffer goes home. He runs the hotel with his sister.
Yeah.
She's a bit of a ball breaker. She's,
Again, another actress who I recognise just from being on British TV.
Yeah,
in
she's just
stuff.
in stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a bit of a ball breaker, and she's actually found out how much debt they're in.
Yes.
And she's like, that's to the point now where we can't recover that.
Yeah, the hotel is
we need
imminently.
We need to sell
shutting.
this hotel now because there's no way we can cover that debt. And that kind of triggers all of them into coming on board with Podger's plan.
Sean goes home. Yeah, he's listening to his parents arguing, and it's a horrible place to live, and he doesn't want to inherit the farm.
Yeah, doesn't want to take on their life.
Yeah,
become them. So next day they're back at the garage and they're...
So I just put off camera, they seem to have agreed to do the hijacking.
Yes, that's exactly what happened because they're making a plan in the next scene. So yeah, I think it was a given that they were always going to do it, but there was never any yes, let's do this.
Yeah.
It probably needed a scene in the pub or something.
Maybe.
But anyway, they come up with this plan where they need to divert the van around some roadworks to them. So they don't go to the van comes to them.
Yeah.
So they go and steal some cones from the local roadwork.
There was something I was slightly confused. Was part of their plan that they would then be travelling to Amsterdam in the guise of a an international bull team?
Yes.
That was right.
That was correct.
And then that would obviously never happen because they never got out of Ireland.
Yeah, they never even leave the town.
Plan.
But that was the plan, yes, indeed. So they steal some cones from the roadworks and they follow the van just to try and... They're getting timings and stuff.
Yeah.
Find out what time
and there's a montage of them timing where the van is at different points on its route. And it's intercut with them sort of chatting between them and practicing playing ball.
Yeah.
But it's none of them have ever seen a ball before.
Yeah. They don't know how... Well, Podger throws it and literally throws it straight up in the air.
Someone else hoiks it over 3 hedges. And it's ball is just a little sandpit just in front of you.
Yeah.
What,
it was trying to be funny.
Yeah, but it's just...
But it wasn't.
That's not how people... If I gave you a ball...
Yeah.
You'd know... And said, your object is to throw it near these other balls.
Yeah, I wouldn't yak it across 3 fields.
You're not going to yeet it over the your neighbour's fence, are you?
No. Absolutely. It was just fucking stupid.
And then one of them threw it and fell over. And I was just this is really forced, not funny.
Yeah. That'd be my one-word review of this film. Then they discuss disguises that they need to acquire because people around this town know them. And then they've somehow got a model of the whole town that somebody's made.
Oh, yeah, there's a proper, Back to the Future 3 style miniature.
Yeah, the whole town's been modelled.
Yeah.
Where they've got that from, I've no idea.
Someone's got a secret talent out of the 4 of them.
Yeah. But then this film isn't hanging around at this point now because we've established who these characters are. Let's get on with the story is basically what the conversation's just
and they literally run through the plan on this miniature. Make the roadblock. Podger thinks they should have a gun to scare the drivers. And the rest of them are whoa. We're already stealing stuff. You want to add an armed robbery.
And then we get straight to the plan. So they do. The traffic stop works. They manage to divert the van.
So, just about. Sean and Donal are dressed up as road workers.
Yeah, they nearly miss it.
Yeah, because they let a coach through and then have to convince the van to take the diversion.
Yeah. And then the van comes across 2 nuns dressed in the middle of the road.
What's more Irish than a nun?
Your Irish accent's quite good. Considering you said you couldn't do voices. There's some nuns in the road that have broken down on their cart.
This is Gaffer and Podger.
Yeah.
I mean, Gaffer's still got a full-on beard.
Yeah.
But he's gone to the effort of putting makeup on and a beauty spot.
Yeah. The van isn't buying any of it, though, and just starts reversing.
They're the guys are to be fair, they call it out. They're the nuns are in it with the construction worker.
They guess the plan straight away. So they start reversing backwards up this road they've just come down. And then the construction workers are there as well, which is the other 2 guys.
And also, Podger, the nun, has a cardboard machine gun.
Yes, he's made a gun out of cardboard. And so it ends up with them all chasing this reversing van up the road while one of them's waving a cardboard machine gun at them.
This is really badly edited, where the van ends up going backwards through the hedge.
Yes,
and they're clearly, obviously, we need an action shot, but we can't wreck this van we've hired, and we can't really wreck this hedge either because that's some farmer's hedge.
Yeah. It very slowly reverses through a hedge in a very dramatic way.
Yeah, and then it cuts to the windscreen where somehow Gaffer's been thrown over the front onto the windscreen.
Hit somehow.
And also he's commando.
Yeah.
So he's just a massive hairy horse.
Yes, absolutely. So the drivers are well, this is ridiculous. We're in this armoured van. The driver, by the way, one of the drivers is one of the kids from Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Okay.
This is obviously because it's Irish. He's I think the priest one. I've not seen.
I've never seen an episode of it. That's all right.
So they're like, well, we'll just lock the doors and phone the police while we're here.
Yeah, he's like,
they
we've
can't
got
get in.
bulletproof
Yeah,
glass.
They can't get in. But then turns out they haven't got bulletproof glass because this cardboard gun goes through the window.
Yeah.
Because of course it does. So they manage to get the guys out of the van, the drivers out of the van.
Oh, the guards activate their transponder.
Yes, they turn their transponder on. They get tied up. They tie them up in the field, and they take the van. And they celebrate that the first part of their plan has worked. They've got the van full of, I guess it's more of a lorry. They've got the lorry full of Viagra.
Yeah.
And they've left the drivers tied up in a field. And then they suddenly find the tracker or the transponder.
Yeah.
And realise that they're now being followed or tracked.
And then somehow, again, badly edited, I don't know what happened. They crash into each other.
Yeah, so when they spot the transponder, Donal slams the brakes on the lorry because he's like, we're being tracked. But the vans that Podger and the other guy are driving is too close.
Yeah.
So it goes into the back of them. It doesn't really cause any damage other than breaks a headlight on the van. So they get this tracker out, they tie it to a plastic bag, and I think a 7-Up bottle, and throw it into the river, and it floats away. So they've got away with it. The tracker's gone, but anybody who's tracking that will now be tracking the river, and they've got a lorry full of Viagra.
Yeah, and then it cuts to sort of the next morning, Podger and Gaffer checking the newspapers.
It's actually a few days later.
Oh, is it?
Says,
A few days.
yeah.
And there's no news.
But yeah, it's
on
nothing
the
to hit the
robbery.
newspapers.
So they're really happy because like, we might have just got away with this. Yeah.
They haven't got away with it
No.
because at this point, 3 American security guards show up.
In like one of these huge like Schwarzenegger style Hummers.
Armoured Hummer with a satellite dish on the top. Do we want to talk about who these people are?
Yeah, well, certainly 2 of the 3 of them.
2 of the 3 of them.
It's
highly
more. They're
recognisable.
described as a private security firm.
Yes. Who
Employed by the drugs company
Pfizer.
to find the payload.
Yeah.
And it's one of them.
I can't believe you're going to say this.
One of them's fucking Sarah Connor.
Yeah, one of them's Linda Hamilton.
And one of the other ones is Debo from Friday.
Yes.
You might also know him as Zeus, the professional wrestler.
Yeah, Tom Lister Jr.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no longer with us. Died during COVID. I think he died of COVID, in fact.
Yeah.
Which maybe should have had some of that Pfizer. I didn't say that. Can't believe I just said that. Yeah, Linda Hamilton shows up.
He was
with
in
Zeus.
he was what else was in? He was in The Fifth Element. He was like
Yeah,
the president of Earth.
Yeah, he's been in quite a few.
No
bits
Holds
and
Barred.
bobs. Yeah, loads of stuff.
Friday, like I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two
What the
great
hell are
big.
these 2 people doing in this movie?
I have no idea. It's filmed in one little backwater Irish village somewhere. It's actually not filmed in Ireland, this film.
Okay.
Randomly. It was filmed in Devon.
Right.
Fuck knows why. They flew all these Irish people over to Devon to film it. But yeah, randomly, I was watching it and I was like, she looks familiar. And then it took me a few seconds. I was like, is that? Yeah, it is. And then I looked on IMDb and I'm like, that's fucking weird, man.
So weird.
It's so weird. It's one of the weirdest cameos I've ever. It's not even a cameo.
No.
She's one of the main people in this film now.
Yeah. They are the antagonists of this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things go from bad to worse because not only have these guys turned up, there's a TV news conference held
Yeah.
involving
But
the
the first thing these people say is we want to hold a press
Yeah,
conference.
yeah.
So they organise this
Yeah.
press conference.
and it turns out the value of the stolen Viagra
Yeah.
is $63 million.
Yeah, they've bitten off a little bit more than they can chew.
And not only that, but the local police, in conjunction with this SWAT team,
Yeah.
are offering a $2 million reward for any information that leads to an arrest.
Yes, absolutely. Then there's a small montage of each one of the 4 guys choking.
Yes.
Because there's a point where they're all drinking something and they all splutter water.
Yeah,
everywhere.
like Gaffer spits his Guinness everywhere,
Yeah,
and there's tea going
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's really quite a good bit, I thought. The 2 Irish policemen are very incompetent and inept, I would say.
Very much so, yeah.
But so they're like the comedy side of this. The Americans though have a signal on the tracker, so they're going to follow that.
They see that it's sort of
Moving.
and they've got a suspicion that it's like the Russians are behind it.
Yeah. Because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's always the dirty Russians. So they follow this tracker. They get to they've set up roadblocks around the town as well. They get to one of the roadblocks, and the cop's just asleep in his car.
Yeah, his little like
with
panda
one,
car.
One little cone on the road where he's not stopping anything.
So Linda Hamilton goes up, opens the door, and the guy just falls out.
Yeah,
because he was asleep.
Yeah,
I almost laughed.
Did you?
Almost.
Almost. She's not happy. She gets all angry at the cops. And then just as that happens, Podger comes along in his little post van. And he gets stopped by this roadblock. He's unfortunately the only person that's going to get stopped by this roadblock.
Yeah.
So they search him. They search his van.
But he's obviously already knows the local cops, so they're very much like, it's just Podger.
Yeah, he's just the postman.
Yeah.
But they do try. They do.
But he gets some info, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's quite clever how he gets his info from them. But it also turns out that they have a modified metal detector that's been modified to pick up Viagra.
Yeah.
Of course they are. That's what Zeus is up to.
Okay, I've got to be honest with you. At this point, I'm warming to this movie a little bit.
Right.
Because I know it's not going to be good.
Good.
Right? Not even approaching it. I haven't laughed.
No.
But I'm kind of grudgingly going, how the fuck have they got Linda Hamilton and Tiny Lister in this?
There is that.
You've now piqued my interest a little bit.
I was interested at this point. Didn't last very long, but I was interested at this point. So basically, they search Podger. They don't find anything. They let him go because they pick up that the tracker's in North Derry.
Yes,
which never gets mentioned again because then they find it later on a bit low. But the tracker's not really working properly. Something's stopping it working. They get to the coast and they spot a Russian fishing boat.
Yeah.
So they were like, it's got to be that.
Yeah.
That's where this Viagra is. We'll focus our attention there.
But they then do nothing about that.
Yeah. No. Not till the very end.
Yeah.
Podger goes back to the boys and he uses the line, it's like that film, The Terminator. And I'm like, it's not.
Yeah.
But he does say that.
Yeah.
Because Linda Hamilton's in it. But they decide they've got to move this lorry now because things are heating up.
Well, they've still got all the drugs.
Yeah.
And they've got the lorry.
Yeah.
The drugs are in the lorry. So they decide, fortunately, we've got like a mechanical genius in our group. So, Donal, it's your job to strip this van.
Basically dismantle this lorry's apart.
And get rid of it.
Yeah.
The rest of us, we're going to stash the drugs somewhere.
Get rid of the drugs somewhere. The lorry had also sunk in the floor of the barn because it was too heavy. So he does. He gets to... Sorry if you can hear a dog barking. I don't know where that's come from. If it's picking it up on the mics, I apologise. He gets to work dismantling this van for its parts, and the other guys take the barrels and they take them to the local well.
Yes, you missed a very random scene where some girls are trying on knickers for no reason whatsoever.
Oh yes, that is true. I did miss that scene. Yeah, they're just trying on each other's knickers.
Just because girls get together,
try each other's knickers
on.
Yeah, why not?
Talk about boys.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
So they've decided, the boys in their infinite wisdom have decided the best place to store these barrels of Viagra is down the local well.
I don't think, in theory, it's a bad idea.
Until you've got to try and get them back out again.
Then it's a bad idea. Yeah.
It's a pretty bad idea.
100%.
It's a pretty bad idea.
As a hiding place, it's all right. I think that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Nobody's going to look down there. So, and handily, the diameter of the well is pretty much exactly the same as the diameter of the barrel.
Yes. So, which are big industrial
blue
plastic barrels.
You know the type.
That look like they'd be pretty difficult to sort of... You'd have to bust one pretty hard to split it to let water in it.
Yeah, not anymore. So it's chucking it down this night. That's the only point in the whole film where it rains as well. So they're trying to force them down the well, and there's a jutting rock.
There is
just out of the wall of the well that they don't notice, but it's ripping open every barrel.
So am I supposed to believe every single barrel got ripped on the same bit of rock?
Yeah,
is that what they're implying?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
And obviously then the barrels are going down the well. They've all been ripped open. The pills are leaking out into the local town's water, which seems like it's quite dangerous, but this film thinks it's quite funny.
Yeah. I then did a little smirk because there's it cuts to them just going back about their business, and there's a news report in the background, and it says that the local police have had to apologise for the wrongful arrest of 3 nuns.
Yeah, I did hear that. That did give me a little titter in the background. And then there's a water montage.
Yes.
It's basically a montage of everybody in the town drinking water.
Yeah.
Whether it be animals or people or what. Everybody's just suddenly enjoying this local water. The news crew then, the boys are regrouped in the hotel the next morning.
Yeah, having breakfast.
They're having breakfast in the hotel. And a news camera crew shows up.
So did the SWAT team.
And then the SWAT teams do too. And they all try and check into this hotel that Gaffer owns.
So where did they spend their first night?
I don't know. Unnecessary. They all check in.
Gaffer's like, I'm saved. We've got guests.
We've got guests. This is the first guest in this hotel for ages. So they all check in. One of the guys then goes off to confession. Which is
our heroes are but I just want to point out that they are talking very loudly about what they've done in the same room as the news crew and the SWAT team.
Yes, they are. Yes, that is also happening.
So that happens in films.
Is it Sean that then goes to confession?
He does, yeah.
So he goes to confession to talk to a priest, and he tells the priest everything. The priest gives him some Hail Marys to do or whatever. And then we get another water montage.
Yeah.
So we really need to hit it home that people drink water.
And people are getting... But with this second water montage, people are visibly getting horny.
Yes. They are.
There's lots of, like, a couple of buttons being undone and,
even the women.
A couple of tents being pitched.
Yeah. Even the women are getting horny.
Yeah.
Like, unfathomably horny. Like, to the point where you can't not rip somebody else's clothes off.
Yeah.
That's how horny they're all getting. The Americans then get a signal on their tracker again, so they go off to follow that. They nearly crash into Podger, who's again driving his van around.
Yeah, down these country lanes.
And they managed to smash their truck into a barn.
Yeah.
We go back to the garage, and the other guys have all managed to strip this lorry down to its parts.
Yeah.
That's now also stored in some blue barrels.
So this is some huge bits of metal with Pfizer written down.
Yeah, because Pfizer label every piece of metal on their van. And then Podger turns up, and he's managed to tow the Americans back to this garage where this lorry is, because he's a fucking idiot, obviously. They're not happy about this. The other boys do call him out on it. Then we start a bit of a love story with one of the Americans with Donal.
Yeah, so the one we've not really talked about, so the techie SWAT team member, she's the one who's got like on the radar and tracking the transponder. She starts having eyes with Donal.
Yeah, and he does with her, because everybody in this town has suddenly got really happy.
Yeah. Everyone's got a stonk on. Even the carrots are massive.
Yeah, the carrots have suddenly rejuvenated themselves.
Yeah. Like, can the carrot get horny?
No,
because they're definitely engorged.
Yeah,
because
at the beginning they're all floppy.
Yeah,
and now they're not.
Yeah,
it's a
what
metaphor.
Is that symbolising?
I don't know, but then we get another water montage, and there's more people drinking water. This is the third one now,
and the priest's getting exasperated because all the horny wives are like confessing to him.
Yeah, there's a really old lady that goes to confession and confesses to making pig noises in bed with her husband.
She's like it's like he was. Rutting around for truffles or something, she says.
Absolutely. And then the news reporter, who's remember is staying...
Everyone's sexing each other up.
Everyone. So the news reporter's gone... He's staying in Gaffer's hotel.
Yeah.
He's gone for a massage, and the Gaffer also owns a spa at this hotel. And he wants a massage. And Gaffer's sister isn't about.
No, this was a very strange scene.
This was a very strange scene. So Gaffer decides, I'll give him a massage. And he literally massages this guy.
Yeah, and the TV guy's really into it.
Yeah, properly into it.
And basically, Gaffer ends up dry humping
like
this TV news reporter.
Whose whole arse is out.
Yeah.
And he's literally sitting on his back, just massaging and humping him at the same time.
They just end up
presumably doing it
together.
I'm going to assume that they did the noi.
I don't know.
I don't know about you, but I'm assuming they did. That night, the pub's busy. Everybody's out and about. The town seems to be like perking up a little bit.
Yeah.
There's loads of people in the pub. That's when the vicar comes in and says, I need a drink. Everybody's too horny. I don't know what's going on. The three ladies who were trying on knickers earlier, they're all horny. The condom dispenser's empty. And somebody says they've been in there. They're probably just dust.
Yes.
They've been in there so long.
Most of them are horny for Tiny Lister.
Yeah. Of course.
They're all like, oh, have you seen that SWAT team.
Massive,
That guy's
great
amazing.
big 50-year-old American dude. Even the Americans are getting horny. Everybody's getting horny. The guy Donal, he's fixing the Americans' van now. Remember?
Yeah.
He manages to see on their computer where the tracker is.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, we know where that is now. That's handy.
We can go and get rid
So
of it.
we'll go and find it. So they do go to try and find it, and they, for some reason, all end up in a river in their underwear.
Yeah, because again, it felt like a bit was missing. So they go out with this plan. Right, we know where the tracker is.
Yeah.
We're gonna move it. We're gonna dispose of it because we did a bad job the first time.
Yeah.
So it cuts to them on their way to there, but then it suddenly cuts to them, the American SWAT team behind them.
Yeah. And the Irish.
But none of them were together because we've literally just seen Donal on his own in the garage with the techie.
The techie
SWAT
woman
lady,
was there,
because
but-
they're starting to get the hots
Yeah.
for each other. But it's kind of developed into a bit of a chase all of a sudden.
Yeah, so basically they go off to this river to try and grab the tracker.
They all go in their pants.
They're all going in there. So they're all in their pants.
Yeah.
They find this tracker in the river.
Yeah.
Which would not be linked to them in any way.
No.
So why they've gone to find it is beyond
No.
me in the first place.
And in fact,
It doesn't matter if the Americans find this tracker. There's nothing with it.
yeah, and
They
it
just find the
not
tracker.
only was it not linked to them, but Donal then takes his pants off,
Yeah, it takes his
wraps them round the tracker,
and throws it
and
back in the river.
throws it back in the river. And I don't understand why he then tied a bit of evidence linking him to it. It
Fuck
made
no, 'cause
no
it's like,
sense whatsoever.
Take my short. He says to Gaffer, "Take my shorts off. Take my shorts off." He's
Yeah.
got like boxers on, and he does, and then he wraps them around the tracker and throws it back in the river.
Yeah.
As if the boxers are like radioactive and going to turn the tracker off. I don't know.
And then the SWAT team
I'd
turns
gone
up.
by this point. I'm out. I was out by this point.
I tuned in and I think I'm just along for the ride. I'd like not saying it was a good ride, but I'm like
Gaffer on a massage table.
yeah.
So basically, the Americans show up. They find them, three of them in their underwear, and one of them completely naked, and so they arrest them. Basically, they
We cut to them being questioned. Don't we?
questioned in their back in the police station.
They're not questioned very hard.
No, because nobody really believes that these four idiots could do it. They're still on the premise that this is a hardcore crime syndicate that's done this crime.
I mean, Podger basically says we did it,
Yeah,
and then Gaffer kind of goes, blah, 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 blah. We know all the details because they find a notebook with Podger's plan of
the whole
what
plan
we're gonna
written
do.
down in. Yeah, they're basically banged to rights.
And they somehow believe Gaffer when he says, "Oh no, we just made those notes because your boy over there, the local plod, he comes into the pub every night. He has a drink.
Yeah,
He's telling everyone what's been happening and
they
what's
basically come up with a plan in front of the police.
Yeah.
Between them to say we were going for the reward.
Yeah.
We were actually these are notes to try and get this
Yeah.
reward for you. We're trying to help you out.
And that one of them even says, "Oh, look at us. It's not like we could.
Yeah, we're idiots.
We couldn't do a heist like this.
Yeah. And Linda Hamilton completely is like, yeah, you're right. You
Yeah.
couldn't. You're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, you're
Let's
morons."
them all go. So Donal goes back to fixing the car. Gaffer's sister starts flirting with Tiny Lister. She seems to be the one that's going to win that war.
They don't only flirt.
They fucking don't only flirt.
I
I drew the curtains at this point.
did not realize that the word stove was a euphemism for vagina.
I don't think it is.
Oh, it was in this movie.
It was in this movie. Yeah, what does he say?
He's come downstairs with these baguettes.
Yeah. Don't she make it? She was making. He'd got a cake.
Yeah,
So
he's got a cake in one hand and
She's baked.
she got the baguette.
She'd got a baguette baked it looked like a big dick.
Yeah.
And
It
he'd
even
got a
had
cake that
balls.
looked like a big boob.
Yeah.
So
So he gives her the boob cake
yeah,
and she gives him the bread shaft.
yeah.
And,
And
then she's like, "Oh, would you like to put that in my stove?" And he's like looking at her with his wonky eye and like,
yeah.
"Yeah, let's do
Then he-
it right here, right now."
Then he puts his baguette in her stove.
Yeah, and he downs chow and she's like,
Wow.
"Yeah, come and yeah, fill my oven."
There's quite a graphic sex scene at that. Well, it's not a graphic sex scene, but there's quite a.
Well, no, I would say it is for this movie.
Yeah, it's just out of place in this movie.
Yeah,
it's not like
because there's suddenly
it's not like a 50 Shades of Grey moment, but it's a
bits
big,
everywhere.
There's bits flying everywhere because it's a montage as well. Because Donal and the techie lady are also,
Yeah, so
they're also doing it at the
Gaffer's
same
sister
time.
and I don't even know what the character's name was in this.
Nor me.
The SWAT guy. They're going at it.
I
In
don't
the
know what any
hotel.
character's name is in this. Six-pack Jordan, apparently, he's credited
Of course
as.
it is.
He definitely does not have a six-pack at this point in his career.
The techie SWAT woman, she's going at it with Donal.
Yeah, he's got his ass out again.
But he's under the van,
Yeah,
fixing it, and she walks out in her bra,
yeah.
and she can't get him out from underneath the van because his dick's so massive
that it's wedged into
that it is wedged in the undercarriage of the Hummer.
Yeah, that happens.
In a sentence I never thought I would say. So she removes him.
Yeah.
And they're going at it as
Yeah.
well. So there's a whole sex montage going on.
Yeah, everybody
You
in the
see
town.
more than I think you would have thought appropriate for the style of this film.
Yeah.
And the relatively sort of quaintness of it,
Yeah.
I guess.
Everybody in this town's going at it at this point.
And then we cut to Sean.
Yep.
And he's finally getting it on with this the bar lady from the pub.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in a bath.
Yeah.
Because he just happened to be walking past her house.
Yeah, she just
and she's
grabs
like,
him.
Come in then.
She just grabs him out of nowhere. All of the women go to church because they're all like confessing of what's going on.
Except, so then that montage is then still intercut with the women still going to church and then Sean waking up because his one wasn't real. It was a dream.
Yeah, it was a dream. The one scene that did make me laugh a little bit was there's an old man who runs a shop and he's got some guinea pigs in a cage outside and suddenly he's got more guinea pigs than he had before.
He's really confused when he counts them.
Yeah, and I was like, that's actually
that's
quite
a
funny.
nice little joke.
Because you see him earlier putting the water bottle on the cage. Even the two cops start going at it.
Yes.
The two cops, the Irish cops. And then we see the two old men in the pub.
Yeah, Statler and
Waldorf. They make a phone call. And we don't really know who they're calling. And then it cuts to Linda Hamilton being on the phone.
Yes.
So we're like, well, they've definitely not called her. Because
exactly.
that's not how films work.
Yeah, because she's like getting a tip.
Yeah, we're getting a twist at this point.
Yeah.
So the guys all get called to the local pub. Because they want to have I presume there's some sort of town meeting.
Yeah, and
they're going to meet the two guys.
Yeah, but they think the police are on to, they think they've been seen through.
Yeah,
they're being arrested, basically.
But it turns out they haven't been turned in. The whole town have always known that it's them that did this crime.
Ever since Sean confessed to the vicar.
Because the vicar can't keep his mouth shut when he's had a few brandies. So the whole town are in this pub waiting for them, congratulating them on making...
Thanks for making us horny.
Yeah, thanks for making us all have sex. The two cops come in. They nearly find the Viagra, but they don't.
They literally dropped two Viagra on the table.
Yeah.
And
they take them. One of the old guys.
It's like, it's a breath mint.
Yeah, I'll have this as a breath mint. So he takes one.
It says Viagra on the pill.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But yeah, the cops don't. I don't think the cops would have been that bothered either, to be honest. Sean then decides he's going to go and finally kiss this girl that he's been after this whole time. And he does. So that's kind of like your
it's just a party now.
It's just a party going on. Everybody's happy in this town.
The old guys tell our foursome that we disposed of that tracker.
Yeah.
Permanent, like.
And then we've cut to the Americans, and they're basically chasing this Russian fishing boat.
The caption says somewhere in the North Atlantic.
It's quite close to the coast because you could see the coast line. But yeah, they're chasing this Russian fishing boat. Basically, they've been duped. And then it cuts to 3 months later. And we've got this news reporter, this guy who came to the town at the beginning.
Yeah.
Has not left.
He's like fallen in love with this place.
He has indeed.
And he's doing like a travel
possibly
piece.
with Gaffer, but that's still implied at this point.
Yeah. I would have liked it if they'd have gone full on with that.
Yeah, same.
I found love with this with my boyfriend. Yeah, that would have been lovely.
Yeah, it would.
Anyway.
So he is doing like a travel piece on this town and how it's been rejuvenated because of how good the water is in this town.
It's rejuvenating.
People coming from miles around, and the pubs thriving, the hotels thriving, the whole town's thriving.
The town is famous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the film.
And no one ever wants to leave. Is basically the closing line.
And then that's the end of the film. And just before the end of the film, we get basically a Pfizer distancing themselves from this film. There's a message comes up on the screen.
Yeah.
It also gives you a health warning about the abuse of Viagra.
Yeah.
Don't abuse it. And for further information, follow this website if you've got erectile dysfunction. It's basically a whole please don't sue us, Pfizer.
Yeah,
message
yeah,
at the end of
basically.
this film is what that is.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends. Thoughts?
It's just weird. Not weird. There's nothing weird about. Well, there is odd things about this movie, but it's weird to me that it exists.
Yes.
And that it feels like they've made the whole movie and then gone, oh shit, can we release this? Because it's full of like an actual company's name. We're talking about this product all the way through. And then
you actually see some Viagra pills as well.
Yeah. And then at the end, it's like, well, we agreed that the only way we could get this out if we publish this full disclaimer. Literally a millisecond after the film goes to black.
Yeah.
It really is. Odd.
Very, very odd.
That whole thing's just odd. The film itself, do you know what? It's shit.
It's really shit.
But I think I just kind of tuned into it quite early on. I was like, well, I know what this is.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting anything from it. I think I smirked twice. I didn't hate it.
After about 20 minutes, I hated it. I was like, it lost me and it never won me back, and I just thought it was so boring.
I didn't think it was boring. I thought it was quite breezy.
Nothing happens in this film at all.
No, granted.
I was so bored of it. I was over it. After about 20 minutes, I was completely over it. The fact that they don't establish who anybody is, they don't.
Oh no, that's brilliant. Yeah.
There's like, you're just supposed to know who these people are. Even though you've never met them before in your life. But they don't even use names ever. No. Nobody's got a name. Gaffer calls everybody horse, but that's it. It's really difficult to make notes on when somebody does that.
What I found with it was that I would think I was quite entertained, but not at all by the movie, just by my own inner monologue of sort of how they got this person in this.
Yeah, there is that.
You know, how does this exist? How does this Pfizer thing work? And all these questions that we talked about were going through my brain as I was watching it, which is probably why I didn't make a lot of the connections, like the guy leaping off at the start of the movie. And so I'm not sure if I'm saying it was quite breezy because the film was, bearable, or if it's just because it gave me so many questions internally through the duration of the movie that it kind of went reasonably fast. You
basically watched the movie and entertained yourself.
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
that's what you've done.
Yeah,
yeah. It's definitely not. Have you ever seen the TV show Brassic?
Yes.
Did you not think it felt like an extended episode of that?
I can see a bit of that. Yeah.
Only that would have done it a lot better.
Yeah,
because it felt like an extended sitcom.
I liked how the guy who played Gaffer clearly just wanted to dress up as Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yes, he was 100%.
That's just who he was. What the character is based in, 100%. Like the look of the character is.
100%.
It's a real curious sort of how the hell does this exist?
Yeah, it really is.
But it's really bad. It's not funny.
I googled some of the science because I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
Viagra doesn't make you horny.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything for females at all. It's dangerous to take because for what it does is actually a dangerous thing. It has to be. That's why it has to be prescribed.
I did 4 before we started. I do every week. So.
I wonder why the table kept going up. It doesn't make you horny, and in fact, it doesn't work at all unless you are horny.
Okay.
So the science doesn't hold up either.
Wouldn't you mean it wouldn't engorge those carrots?
No, it definitely wouldn't engorge those carrots. It wouldn't do anything for the guinea pigs. It'd probably kill the guinea pig. It's actually a really dangerous chemical to take unless it's prescribed and taken in the right way. But I don't want to be the nerd here, but this film doesn't hold up because it's bullshit. No, it isn't. I haven't got a good relationship with comedy films anyway, but this just isn't funny.
I was doing a bit of reading after I watched this, and I did find I can't remember the website, so I do apologise, but an article on the worst Irish films of all time.
Oh, right, okay.
And this was in there, and it was the 7th worst Irish film of all time, according to the
7th worst? Jeez, I don't want to see the top 6.
I just think, I'm almost like there wasn't enough in this to be offensive.
I'm not offended by it.
No, I know.
Bored by it.
That's fine. I can understand that from you, whereas for me, my tolerance for stupid shit comedies is a lot higher. So I found this just like I say, I didn't hate it. Do I think it was good? No, not even slightly. Did it give me a lot of questions? Yes, 100%.
There's no erections in it. It just makes everybody horny.
Yeah.
It doesn't even do what Viagra does. It's just it's shit. I really didn't like it. I was glad when it ended.
Okay.
That's a fact. That being said, what's the best thing about it?
I kind of like Gaffer.
Gaffer was the best thing. Gaffer and Podger were the two.
Yeah.
They were all right. The best thing about it though is the fact that it's managed to attract Linda Hamilton to be in it.
The best thing about it is the surprise when those two turned up. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It was very, very weird.
Yeah.
What would you change about it?
I just don't make it. I mean,
just,
is that...
It's a half-an-hour episode of Brassic. It's no more than that. It's an extended joke that you could have done so much better in a sitcom.
I know we've joked around, done some stupid voices and stuff as well, but it was fucking lazy.
Oh God, yeah.
The start with the pipes and the it's someone. Would you be offended if you're Irish and watch this? Maybe.
Probably. I'm not Irish and I'm offended by it. So
it's not funny.
It's not. That's its biggest crime.
It's not.
It's trying to be funny and it isn't.
It's not. It doesn't really have any charm either.
No, it doesn't. I don't even think it tries that hard to be funny.
No.
There's nothing there that's like tries to be funny and doesn't hit. It's just.
Well, no, the bits when they're like yeeting the balls around, it's
them trying.
Like,
yeah, but that's just silly.
But it's like something from the. I don't know. And in a time warp of look, these guys can't throw. Oh, he fell over and fell on his arse. It's like.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
It's not great.
It's one of the worst films I've seen in a long time. Should we talk Stream Table?
Yeah.
Do you want me to run through it from the bottom?
Sure.
Currently at the bottom of the stream is Set Up, closely followed in 10th by 8 Remains. 9th is Target. 8 is Comes a Bright Day. 7 is The Land of Steady Habits. 6 is The Parts You Lose. 5 is All at Sea. 4 is Body Cam. 3 is Pentagram. 2 is The Trip, which was last week's film. And currently still at number 1 in the top of the stream is Summit of the Gods. Where does this go?
Well, look, I think for me, there's an obvious comparison with a movie we've already seen this season.
Correct.
And it's All at Sea.
Yes.
It is local people in a local town mucking about.
Yep.
You know, getting into a heisty, crimey, hijinks type thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like All at Sea. I didn't like this. But I think I like this a little bit more than All at Sea.
Well, wow. Wow. I didn't know where you were going with that then. We're miles apart.
But
this
I thought that was ranked too high.
That is ranked too high.
Because I would have had All at Sea below probably the couple of movies that are below it. Which then gives us a problem.
Yes, it does. It does indeed.
Because and it's all your fault. Because you wanted All at Sea above, you know, a bit higher up.
Did I?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'll take your word for that.
I mean, I would have had like The Parts You Lose above All at Sea, for example.
Okay.
And that went underneath. And I think A Parts You Lose is better than this movie. Such is the problem of trying to list where films go in a table.
In my opinion, I think we've only seen 2 films that are worse than this season. Okay. I would put this just below Target.
Oh, we might have to do some negotiation.
We might have to because
I think this is better than All at Sea, but I don't think this is the 5th best film we've seen this season.
No, it 100% isn't the best film.
That's not what I'm saying.
I think The Parts You Lose and The Land of Steady Habits possibly should be above All at Sea.
Yes, but they were marked down because, well, we know why they were marked down. Go and listen to the Parts You Lose episode.
Yeah. The fact is that middle block are very interchangeable. All at Sea could easily be 9th. It could be easily be 5th where it is.
Yeah.
They're very close, that middle block. But I really hated this, and I think it's worse than Target.
Objectively, you're probably right.
Yes.
But let's come back to this old hypothetical. If you told me I've got to watch one again, I'm watching this above Target.
There's not many films we've ever done where I pick this over it, I don't think.
I totally get that. This is just not your...
It's just not for me. You'd have to pay me to watch this again. Money would have to change hands.
Okay, so I'll look. I don't want to put this fifth. I was just trying to scare you to say
it worked.
Personally, I preferred it to All at Sea, but this is not the fifth best film we've seen, so it can't go that high. So I will come down.
Okay.
I think I'd like it to be above Target.
Okay. You prepared to come down that far?
Yeah, I think that is fair.
Okay,
Fair
that's
cop.
fine. It's Comes a Bright Day is definitely a better film than this.
Yeah.
That was the London heist movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Target just doesn't work for us because we don't know.
We don't. The references
don't work because
us.
it shouldn't even be out in this country. Oh, okay. I can't argue with that. You've come down quite a long way there.
Yeah.
Just above Target.
Yeah.
Fourth worst film we've seen this season.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie.
It's definitely it doesn't. Trouble 8 remains a set up at the bottom. It isn't that bad.
It got a couple of smirks out of me. Just the weirdness of how this seems to have been put together, and then the statements at the end, and just the fact that fucking Sarah Connor turns up after half an hour is completely mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I mean, the Pfizer branding being everywhere, and it might be a bit more relevant now than it was in 2009.
Sure,
it wouldn't have meant anything to anybody back then.
No, exactly. That's very true.
Now they're like one of the biggest companies, most famous companies in the world because of COVID vaccines and what have you.
Of course.
But back then, it probably wouldn't have stood out so much, even 3 years ago. But
that's a really interesting point, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But
because now it's just, how many times have you seen that branding, that name in the last
absolutely.
two and a half
3
years?
years ago, I wouldn't have even known it was a real company. I wouldn't have even crossed my mind that Pfizer made Viagra. But
this is an odd one. This was an odd movie.
It's one of the weirdest ones we've done. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the fact that it even exists is weird. So it is currently 9th in the stream table, and that's where it belongs. That just leaves us to pick next week's film.
Let's do it.
What would you like to watch next week, Nick?
Let's have something. Let's have a drama.
A drama?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to see what Robin's got for
our
us?
teeth into.
Should we call Robin out?
Sure. Welcome, Robin.
It has picked a film that I presume is pronounced XOXO.
Okay.
Not so, whatever you pronounce it. XOXO. Any ideas?
All I know is I've seen that it's on our long list, and it has been there for quite some time.
I think it's an OG.
It may be.
I think it's been on there the whole time we've been doing this podcast. It's never come out until now.
Yeah, possibly.
Do you want to know more?
Yes, please.
Okay, it was released in 2016. IMDb described it as a drama music.
Drama music.
They're the genres. Drama music. This runs for an hour and a half. Do you want to know synopsis?
Yes, please.
6 strangers' lives collide in one frenetic, dream-chasing, hopelessly romantic night.
Okay.
That's all it says.
Oh.
So, yeah, we're going to watch that then, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
It's a Netflix original. Came out in 2016.
Sounds like one of our nights out.
Yeah, also. Every night with you is hopelessly romantic, Nick. And frenetic.
Yeah, definitely.
2016 for a Netflix original. It's going to be one of the early doors.
Yeah.
The really early ones.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. So go out and check out XOXO. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com. And our website is bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all 6 season stream tables. And you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
prophylactic.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Your face.
No, thank you. Well, you throw me now. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. On there for a couple of quid every month, you will get early access to episodes. You will get bonus episodes. You will get a newsletter that Nick writes every month. And if you come in at the top level, you will get a wild card, which means you can give Robin the week off and you can pick the film that we watch. After you've done all of that, head over to Discord. We have a lot of fun in Discord. There's group chats all the time. There's watch-alongs going on. We've got a watch-along coming up. We had to postpone the watch-along, but it is coming up. And loads of other cool stuff goes on there. We play games. We all chat. It's great. It's a nice little community we've built up in there. The Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes.
If you can spare a few minutes, please leave us a review or a rating anywhere you can review or rate podcasts. That could be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, Pandora, any of the podcast places, because we are at all of them.
We are indeed.
And it really helps us out. It helps us grow our little show.
It does. It's always helpful. It's nice to read as well.
Yes.
So show us some love and then go out and watch XOXO and we'll come back next week to talk about it.
Sure will.
Will be no wave on Monday, remember.
Yes.
Monday will be waveless.
Back
but
Thursday.
we'll be back next Thursday to talk about XOXO.
Cheers.
Bye.